Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the Mighty Jingles. It's Ground Strike on a lonely island again, and I've learned my lesson the hard way. I'm not taking any bombers on this map if you could pay me to do it. Despite the fact that it's a Ground Strike map, it's really not suitable for proper bombers. Ground attack aircraft do okay on this. Fighters, as always, clean up. And so it's time to take the Mark 5C Spitfire out with its 420mm Hispano cannons and just kick some ass. And that's pretty much exactly what I'm going to do. I like the way they have different weather conditions on these maps, by the way. I actually played one of the historical battles recently, attempting to see if I could do the same thing in my Wellington bombers that I was doing in the historical battles with the Sparviero and the Ju-88. Top tip, you can't. Wellingtons are just ME-163 magnets. And it was Cliffs of Dover. Flying on the British side, obviously, with the Wellington, and you load your Wellington up, you crawl along through the sky at 250 kilometers per hour, you get jumped on by an ME-163 and die in a flaming wreck. And I gave it 3 goes, and on the 3rd attempt, shortly before dying to ME-163s in a flaming wreck, the game was at night and in a rainstorm, and I'd never seen that before. So yeah, thumbs up for that. Dynamic weather conditions and all that, good stuff. But enough of that, we're here, farming air kills and going after ground targets, because we're better at it than a bomber ever will be in this map, in the Spitfire Mark 5C, which you probably know by now, I absolutely adore. This is a fantastic aircraft. And again, different weather conditions, we've got lots of low cloud here, it's very murky. So I'm going high, and I'm looking for enemy bombers. Taking cover in the clouds, trying to sneak around and go for our cargo ships. And you know, it's a funny old thing about this map, despite the fact that it's a ground strike map, you can actually win this much, much faster without a single bomber or ground strike aircraft, because the game is won. Well, there's a number of ways you can win. You can win any map by shooting down all the enemy aircraft, and having lots of fighters is surprisingly good for that sort of thing. But also on this map, you've got destroyers, and you've got cargo ships, and the cargo ships launch landing craft and the landing craft launch tanks, and anybody with a machine gun can kill the landing craft. In fact, fighters are the best aircraft in the game for killing those landing craft because they move so quickly and they're such small targets. A bomber's never going to kill them. If you can kill all of the landing craft, the enemy team can't get any tanks ashore. If they can't get any tanks ashore, they can't capture the single capture point on this map, and you win. If you're the one with all the tanks capturing the base, the enemy team have to destroy your tanks to win. And they're easy prey for the fighters when they're doing that. And the only other way they can win is to shoot down all of your aircraft, but as we've already established, you're the one flying all the fighters. So it's kind of bizarre in that one of the best ways of winning this ground strike map is to not take any ground strike aircraft or bombers and just have fun in your fighters. But I've definitely picked up a tail here, so instead of trying to outmaneuver him, I'll just lead him towards friendly fighters and, you know, make him an easy kill. Well, that's the theory anyway. Led him towards that P-47, and he doesn't appear to be interested, so I'll lead him towards this Sturmovik. Sturmovik, come on, he's heading right at you. Just shoot over the top of me. No? You're going to go for the landing craft instead. Right. Okay. And I end up having to turn around and kill him anyway. And rescue. Look at this, I'm going to get a fighter rescuer here. The Yak-1. And the P-39, and I end up having to kill them all anyway. I mean, I made these guys easy kills for for that P-47 and Sturmovik, and I end up turning around having to rescue the P-47 and Sturmovik. And, oh, God. Random teams, what are you going to do? Well, anyway, you know, I get an air kill streak out of it, so it'd be churlish of me to complain. Who's next? Oh, hello, Mr. JU-87. Oh, I've hit him a few times. There we go. Air win streak times 3. Who's next? Cannons have got to be low on ammo by now. Get a bit of altitude. A bit low there. Oh, Sturmovik. Right. Fly past a Mark 5C Spitfire at your peril, mate. We're gonna have you, as long as I don't run out of ammo. Speaking of running out of ammo, oh, cannon's low on shells. How many shots does it take to put one of these things down? I must have put 120mm rounds into that guy's fuselage and then just ran out of ammo. But, you know, you don't hit anything critical, and they don't go down. And Sturmoviks are well armoured. Now, is that the IL-2 and the IL-2M? Sometimes you have to get a bit closer before it quantifies exactly what it is. Yeah, it's definitely the IL-2, so no tail gunner, and I will get him eventually. There you go, got him. BF-110C, he's going to be a fat, easy kill. I could have gotten both of these guys if I'd had more ammunition in the cannons. Both of them on right in front of me, and I just had to break off and reload. Unfortunately, my determination to get this guy costs me my lovely Spitfire. No, and by the sound of that gun, there's something Russian behind me. Oh, fuselage damage. Oh, engine damage. Yeah, I'm down. What was that? Oh. It wasn't Russian. It was Japanese. Good little fighter, that thing. I've almost got all of the upgrades unlocked for mine. It's a really good little aircraft. So instead we jump into the Spitfire Mark 16 with the clipped wings for superior low altitude performance. In theory. I'm not convinced about that in practice, but it's still a good aircraft. 2 20mm guns and I think 4 50 caliber machine guns. Not too sure about the machine guns, but still well armed aircraft. And we're winning this quite comfortably. I mean, they've still got 23 ground targets to go. We've almost captured the central base. And then we only have 4 ground targets left to kill. TBF just got nailed there. So, picked up a lot of speed diving on him. Pull around. Take some negative Gs and pummel the crap out of this Catalina. And bring around again. Look at the battering this guy takes. And this is a problem you get when you get too close. In aircraft that have all the guns mounted in the wings. I really should set my gun convergence on my Spitfires to something more like 300 metres. There we go, put him down eventually, shot one of his wings off. By default I set my gun convergence to 400 metres, and that's absolutely spot on fine for aircraft that have the guns mounted in the nose. Like the Japanese, like the Germans, and some of the some of the Americans, the Aerocobras for example. For aircraft that have all the guns mounted in the wings, like the Hellcats and the Corsairs and all of the Spitfires and the Hurricanes, probably want to set your gun convergence to something more like 300 metres or maybe even less. Because as you can see there, when I was so close to that Catalina, the gun's point of aim was set so far ahead of the Catalina that when you get close, your shots just go wide. You can have a target right in your sights, and your shots just go to the left and right of him because that's where your guns are aiming. Oh, and I almost feel sorry for that Lightning pilot. It's such a shame. I mean, and the Lightning, its flight model isn't even in the game yet. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing all right. Yeah, it's got a placeholder flight model, and at times it feels like the flight model that it's lumbered with is actually the Wellington bombers. It's such a brick to fly. It's a lot of people get, oh, finally I've got up to rank 10 or 11 in the US Air Force, I can finally start playing my Lightning. Yeah, don't. Massive disappointment. It really is a horrible, horrible aircraft at the moment. I hope it's going to be good when it gets its proper flight model given to it. I'm actually quite disappointed they've even put it in the game with the placeholder flight model, because it's such a massive, crushing disappointment. Hellcat. Okay, my cannon's dry. My machine guns are about to run out. My cannons are going to be back up in soon. And I just have to not overshoot him. So, stay on his tail, don't want to go full throttle, cannons are back up. Booyah, gotcha. And there's another air wind streak, which is nice. We've only got one ground target left to kill. And I'll guarantee you we didn't do that by using bombers. Now, it's at this point where you have to start being really careful of rammers like this S-79. Get out of the way, because he is making no effort to get out of your way. And he wasn't even shooting at me. The S-79 has a pilot-controlled forward-firing machine gun. And he wasn't even attempting to shoot. He just nose down, dived right on me. And you get it in the games when the scores are like this, when the enemy team is about to lose, and it's just pure spite. It's just, we're losing, fuck you, I'm taking you with me. That's all it is. And yeah, he ends up getting killed anyway. Ha ha. Sucks to be you. Any second now we're going to nail that last ground target, and that is game over. It wasn't a bad run out. And I do like these higher tier Spitfires. They are such good aircraft, especially the 5C. 420mm cannons is just so amazingly well armed. Can I get one more kill before it's game over? Certainly give it a try. A20G. Come on. No, denied. I will get a few sneaky shots in though. Get a bit of XP for the hits. And there, we've lost. They have lost their last ground target, and you can see the ticket counter screaming down at the top there. Everybody else is too far away. I'm not going to get another kill. Nah, that's it. It's game over. And bang, there you go. The fight reward. So, well played, team. Let's have a look at the results. Any second now. There you go. And this bears closer examination. And, just have a look at that. Second place, which isn't bad, with 7 air kills and 5 ground kills. And first place, no ground kills. 1 more air kill than me. On a map that we won because we killed all the ground targets. The guy who comes out of it with the best score didn't kill a single ground target. Sometimes I just despair about War Thunder's scoring system. But at the same time, if the game's not going to incentivise going after ground kills, then why bother going after ground kills? I mean, I'm not criticising this fella. He did pretty much exactly the right thing. He ignored the ground targets on a ground strike map and went after air kills and walked away with the best score. So why the hell not do exactly what he did? And I mean, but you say, but if you all did that, then you'd lose the map. Who gives a shit? No, really, I'm being serious. Who gives a shit? It's a ground strike map. This guy, and I'm not criticising this guy, he did exactly the right thing. It's a ground strike map. He completely ignored the ground targets, went farming air kills, got rewarded with the best score in the game. Will get a great amount of XP and credits for doing what he did. And that's pretty much the problem. There is no incentive to do anything other than shoot down enemy aircraft. And let's not forget, this is a flight combat simulator arcade game. If you're playing in arcade battles, full real battles, obviously it's a proper flight sim, but it's a flight combat simulator. You should get the most points for killing other players, because that's hard to do. It's harder to do than you know, shooting up landing craft that aren't trying to dodge your shot. So you could argue that, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And the game does not care, to much of an extent, whether your team wins or loses. The score that you get is based on what you have done during that match. And that guy got the most air kills and walked away with the best score. It is what it is. Whether or not you think that's a problem or is something that needs to change is, well, it's entirely down to your own perspective. But I can't really complain. I mean, walking away with 20-odd thousand credits and 40,000 XP is certainly nothing to be ashamed of. And I've unlocked a new camouflage for the Mark 16, which is nice. So we'll have to have a quick look at that, see how it looks. Yeah, I know I've got the wrong kill markings on my Mark 16. Don't worry, I'll get that fixed at some point, you know, if I can be bothered. Here it is, 74th Squadron Royal Air Force, Belgium, April 1945, and it looks like... Oh, yeah, I like that. I think that's going to be my new default camo for the Mark 16. So, racking up a few kills of the Spitfires on Lonely Island. As always, watch your 6, and I'll catch you next time.